Hello, and welcome back to more Beyond Earth news. I'm David, and with me, as usual, is our co host, Zach. Zach, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, today we're going to be talking about NASA's selection of a backup crew member for Artemis II. We're going to be discussing that selection, talking about his fellow backup crewmate, and going over the mission progress so far.
Excellent. Let's dive in.
NASA has announced the selection of Andre Douglas to be the American backup for Artemis II. He is a relatively new astronaut, having been part of the 23rd astronaut class that graduated on March 5th, 2024. He will train alongside NASA astronauts Reid Wiseman, Victor Glover, and Christina Koch, as well as Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen as they prepare for Artemis II. Joe Acaba, chief astronaut at NASA's Johnson Space Center, had the following to say on the selection of Andre. Andre's educational background and extensive operational experience in his various jobs prior to joining NASA are clear evidence of his readiness to support this mission. He excelled in his astronaut candidate training and technical assignments, and we are confident he will continue to do so as NASA's backup crew member for Artemis II.
Andre will be joining Canadian astronaut Ginny Gibbons, who was selected as a backup for Jeremy Hansen back in November 23. She was selected to be an astronaut back in 2017, and the selection as backup for the Artemis II mission would be her first mission. She's already been training with the team. Canadian Space Agency President Lisa Campbell had the following to say about Ginny's selection. Canada's seat on the historic Artemis II flight is a direct result of our contribution of Canadarm3 to the Lunar Gateway. Ginny Gibbons' assignment as backup is of utmost importance for our country. Since being recruited, Ginny has distinguished herself repeatedly through her work with NASA and the CSA. She is also a tremendous role model for Canada's future scientists, engineers, and explorers.
As mentioned earlier, the backup crew will participate in the same training as the primary crew. If there arose a reason why a member of the primary crew could no longer participate in the mission, the backup crew member would step up and take their place on the mission. Oftentimes, the backup crew consists of the same number of members as the primary crew. In this case, NASA seems to have only selected Andre to back up all three of the NASA astronauts. As for Jenny, she is only the backup for Jeremy if he is unable to participate.
It's also important to note that NASA has made it clear that the selection of backup crew for Artemis II is independent from the selection of Artemis III crew members. NASA has made no selections for the Artemis III missions as of this time and has stated that all astronauts are available for any mission.
Artemis II will see human spaceflight return to the moon. During the 10-day mission, the crew will fly out to and around the moon before returning to Earth. The mission is seen as a test flight, the crew testing and ensuring that Orion spacecraft is ready for future missions. This is all in preparation for Artemis III, which will see humans return to the lunar surface.
Progress on Artemis II mission hardware continues. The SLS rocket stages are being sent to the Kennedy Space Center for assembly. The Orion capsule is undergoing vacuum testing, and the crew is undergoing additional weekly training, with Reid Wiseman providing weekly updates on NASA's social media. If everything stays on schedule, Artemis II will launch in fall 2025.
There you have it. NASA is moving ahead with the Artemis II missions by selecting Andre as the backup crew. I think this is a vital decision point, having that backup crew to ensure that the mission can go forward should something unfortunate happen to one of the primary crew. I am a little surprised that it kind of took them a little while. I mean, Jenny, the Canadian backup, was selected way back in November 2023, and we're just now getting the selection of the NASA backup. So it kind of seems like maybe NASA is a little behind the ball on this one, but there is still over a year until mission time, so it might not be that huge of a factor. But I'm also pretty excited that Andre was selected. I mean, he's a new astronaut. You would think he'd maybe have to work his way up a little bit before getting anywhere near an Artemis mission, but here he is, backup crew. Maybe they're preparing him for, maybe not Artemis 3, but one of the later Artemis missions. But, that's some of my thoughts. So what have you got?
Yeah, like you mentioned, it is, I think, a little bit unusual that they waited this long. And I also wonder if maybe this is a change in how NASA is selecting its backups and crew members, or if there'll be additional crew members that will be announced as backups coming up. Um, well, I guess we'll just have to wait and
Yeah.
see whether or not they announce any additional members coming up here. But we'd love to hear from our viewers as well. Leave us a comment down below.
All right. If you've made it this far, please like and subscribe for more Beyond Earth news.
Thanks for watching.